Greetings, everyone. I'm not sitting on the floor for no good reason. We've actually put a video on how to get off the floor and onto a chair independently and without a problem. It was a very popular video, and the comments, as I was reading, people were asking, how do I get on and off or off the floor if I have a sore knee, a total replacement? In other words, doing it without the knee on the floor. And I'm going to show you, we've got 3 different options. Mike, I'm babbling again.
You are a little bit.
Sorry.
So, unfortunately, these options aren't necessarily easy, but these are the ones that we use with people who often have this same issue. So we're going to get to it.
There you go. Oh, we got a cut.
Yeah.
Bob and Brad, the 2 most famous physical therapists on the internet.
Welcome to the Bob and Brad channel. We are the most famous physical therapy team on the internet.
Oh, yes. That was a nice little caveat. Anyways, yeah, we're going to talk about getting off the chair, and there's 3 different options we're going to do.
Getting off the floor.
Getting off, what did I say?
Getting off the chair.
Yeah, well, anyways, it's been a rough day. So we're going to get off the floor without having your knees touch the floor. 3 different options, using some steps, using a chair like this, or using a couch. So you should be able to find one or maybe all 3 are going to help you out. This is something you have to go take your time. If you're doing this for the first time, highly recommend that you have an able-bodied, strong person so that in case you get stuck, they can assist you and you're not going to get hurt. You're going to actually wear a nice, strong belt, not one of those ones that you like if you go out dancing and stuff. Not one of those belts, Mike, but a nice,
fun dancing belt.
Yeah, a nice strong belt, and so the person can use that belt and help you assist versus grabbing your arm or clothing. So that's important if you're getting assistance. If you're pretty mobile and you just need to do this and you feel 100% confident and safe doing it on your own, I would still recommend having someone around to help. All right. Well, what do you got to say, Mike? What did I forget?
Now, if you are just a little sensitive with knee pain, you didn't have a knee replacement or knee surgery, so nothing is counteracting you from doing this or contradicting. I know I'm using the wrong words here. Just using some type of thick foam pad or a large pillow may be an option. Obviously, if you actually fall in the house, there may not be one by you, but if you're practicing, you can try using that because sometimes that eliminates some of the pain.
Right, and pillows are okay. I think a cushion like this happens to be a balanced cushion, but it's it's soft and cushy, but it's dense enough it does not bottom out. And I've had a number of knee replacement patients that got permission from their surgeon. They said, you can put weight on it if you want to do some kneeling activities after so many months past the surgery. But you have to get okay from your surgeon, and that's where these can really come in handy. And if you just have sore arthritic knees, you might be amazed how much more weight your knees can tolerate without pain with a good cushion.
Or sometimes your gardening kneeling pads work too if you're gardening.
This happens to be a Pete's Choice. It's made for standing and balancing, but I use mine at home in the garage when I'm kneeling. I take it to the baseball games, and when I sit down on an aluminum bench to watch a game, I sit on it. It's very comfortable. It's warm as well. So anyways, enough of that. Ready?
I'm ready. You're going in option 1.
Option 1. I'm going to show you how to do the reverse technique, how to get down doing this, and then how to do it from getting up, because I think it's important. Using steps. Oh, our steps are cluttered.
You're going to use steps? Oh, well, I guess we can move stuff out here real quick.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, and we're going to use the option not using the cushion, avoiding weight bearing to your knees. If you have steps and you have 2 handrails, it's ideal. Just do it with one, a little easier. I'm going to show you with 2. So what we simply do is we need to step out. You can stagger your step. Don't get out like this. 1 foot in here, stagger 1, and we're going to reach down with one hand here, and as we turn, both hands are stable. I like to use the 3-point rule. Well, here's one point of stability, here's the other point, and this foot is stability. Then I have one leg to move, or if I have both feet down, then I can move one hand. That's the rule that they use for mountain climbers, and I like to stick with that. So here, I'm going over, here, and sit. Now, it's much easier to go to the top step or the second or third step up. The higher you are, the easier it is. At that point, if you want to get to the floor, hands here, we've got 4 points, so we're stable. We can lift one up and have 3 points still stable. Down, and then down. So you need to be able to get down. Getting up is a similar way. You're just gonna, learning how to do this if you're not able to scoot. What do we call this? The crab walk, Mike?
Yeah, crab walk, butt scooting, whatever you
Am
want.
I forgetting anything so far?
No.
Okay. So you're going to scooch, learn how to do the crab walk, the scooch. One hand up here. You can do both at once if your arms are strong. If you're not used to doing that, you want to do it here and get up. It's going to be, there we go. Just slide your way up. There we go. Slide up.
Stairs are a lot easier than to a chair height because they are shorter. However, it all depends upon realistically where you fall. But for practice sake, I would try steps. As long as you're inside and you're comfortable, you're not going to want to slide up on cement steps outside.
Yeah, exactly. So inside your house, if you have steps, that's what you're going to use. So,
And a good railing.
Right. At least one good one. And then here, I'm going to come over this way. I'm going to cross my legs like this. You don't have to, but it makes it a little easier. And then simply spin like this. Hand on the rail. If you only have one rail, it's here. If you have two, it's here. And then you're up. So you can do that whole thing without touching your knees. And I'm doing it. After you practice this a number of times, you will be able to do it. Maybe not this fast, but I'm just doing it so that you don't get bored watching.
Some people sitting down, depending if they have really strong arms I've worked with and they feel comfortable, they'll actually just go down like this and just use the rails if you got two rails. And then just get up that way too. Just pull from here. So you can do that too when you're getting down and up if you're able to. If you lose your balance backwards, don't do this variation. But it's just an option.
Yep. Yeah, the stairs are just make it so much easier. If you don't have stairs, hopefully you have a chair, if you have with stable armrests and the whole chair is relatively stable.
No wheels.
No wheels, yeah, exactly. So to get down, you can reach down to here, and then down here, and then we're going to do that crisscross. Here and here, we're stable. This foot's stable, so we got 3 points stable. We're going to go back to here. I got 2 feet. Now I'm going to let go with this one and come down. Arm strength is really important on this because I've got all my weight, not all my weight, a lot of my weight through just one arm for a short period of time. And then you're going to get down to the seated position like this.
This is a much bigger gap than the steps, so it's
right.
a bit more challenging.
This is about 17 inches. Steps are typically 7 inches. So that's why this is going to be harder, more arm strength. Okay, so now what we're going to do, one of the options to get up is scoot yourself over. I'm going to go to my left, so it's kind of behind me here. This leg is going to come up and over the top of the left foot. The right arm's going over the body to the left side. And now here, all 4 points, 2 feet, 2 hands, and we're going to lift our butt up. The knees are not touching. And here we are in the crab walk position.
In a plank position.
Yeah, that's even, yeah.
The bear walk position.
The semi-plank. Now at this point, don't go up to your hand, although you could if you're pretty strong. Go up to your forearm. Much easier, much less strength is needed, and it's more stable. Then you're going to walk yourself up to here or to here, and then up to the armrest here. You'll get a little tired by then, so you're going to turn around slowly, sit down, and rest. So go through it a little quicker. Come forward, and down to here, and we're going to simply drop down with one arm. If you got 2 arms and you got enough range of motion in your shoulders, coming down to here, Getting up now. Cross over. Lift the butt up. There we go. I'm already here. Forearm here. Coming up here and up to here. Taking your time. You can see why if you're not real stable, you haven't done this before, having that belt around and a second person to help you do that. Mike, did I miss anything?
You didn't, but if you have good knees, I'd watch the other video and do it that way because that looks a lot harder, unfortunately.
Yeah, it definitely takes more strength if you cannot go through your knees.
The steps are pretty good, I feel like, for most people applicable. That's obviously challenging. We do have one other option of kind of showing it with a couch. We don't have a couch here, obviously, so we're going to do it with a couple of firm chairs.
Right, and I've got to admit, depending on the height of your couches makes it easier than with a chair.
Some couches are pretty low.
Yeah, we've got 2 couches. I've done it on both of them. The lower couch was definitely easier.
Did your wife put a belt on you?
Yeah, we did it for safety, absolutely. So on a couch, they're usually soft. That's a big advantage of them. If you want to practice getting down, just scoot your butt up and you can go down to your forearm on both sides and just slide down and forearms here and you'll get down quite easy. Your knee may not bend that easy, so just work it out slowly. And then, of course, if you fall, you're going to want to get to this position and just back up to the couch, okay? And you're going to get in the middle of the couch, not so one of the arms is right here so your arm bumps into it. You want to have both forearms back on the couch. Now, this is pretty high for a couch because a couch will be cushiony and they'll give a little bit, which is nice. And then you're back in here and you're going to have your feet. Hopefully, your feet will not slide out. If it's carpeted, probably not. If it's a hard floor and you got socks on, that's definitely going to make it more difficult. And we're going to use more arm strength and just slide your body up till you get to here. And again, arm strength is just something that you really need to have to do this. There we go. And done.
Yeah, hopefully your couch doesn't separate like those chairs did.
Yeah.
You should be fine with that couch.
We should show them how to do the exercise for arm strength for this.
For dips?
Yeah, right.
I would say a couple good exercises to do would be dips, one, and also I think bridges would be good if you're not good at butt scooting.
But what if they're not familiar with what a dip is? Because my brother used to call me a dip when I was a kid, and it's not the same.
Call you a dipwad?
Well, I don't want to get into all the details.
Grandpa had a dip in his mouth. That's a little different too. Anyway, so to work on getting good at doing dips, you're mainly working your triceps, a bit of your shoulders. So just do them in a chair, and then you're just going to work on doing a sit to stand. If you're weaker, use your legs to help push up, but you're not going to go all the way up. I'm just going up to my arms are extended. My legs are still touching. I'm not standing. And then you go back down under control. So you're going to go up, hold for a second, and then go back down under control and try to do it this way. The benefit of this is you use your legs as much as you need to. If you want to focus on the arms more, just make sure you're pushing harder with your arms and just using your feet for balance. You're probably not going to get to the point of actually doing a dip without using your legs, because if you're that good, you probably don't need to watch this video. So again, just use your legs as needed, but try to focus on the arms to get them stronger.
And if you're unable to do that, you need obviously a firm chair with a solid armrest. You could actually put a cushion. If you get 1 or 2 inches additional underneath, it makes a tremendous way to start. Much easier.
Smaller motion, making it a little bit easier, but you could certainly start this way.
10 repetitions is the goal. Is that accurate?
Yeah, you could shoot for 10 repetitions. If you can only do 5, just do 5 and then rest for a while and do another 5. You don't have to do them all at once, but just take your time with them. They really work your arm strength.
There you go. So yeah, after it gets easier, then simply pull the cushion out of the pillow, go to that. It's good exercise in general for the arms and shoulders. So I hope that answers your question. If you have a total knee replacement, sore knee, whatever it may be, how to get on and off the floor without kneeling.
Now, if you want to check out another video on how to get off the floor, you can click the video link on the screen.
Oh, beginners to advanced method. That's right. I remember that
for
one.
seniors, how to get on and off the floor. So,
Yeah.
a couple options.
Wait till you get to be a senior.
I can't. I already lost my hair. I'm partway there.
Yeah, there you go. Wait till it turns gray.
This mustache turns gray.
The stubbles will turn gray. That'll be interesting.
Will my eyebrows turn gray? Probably.
And the mustache. You're going to look like Sam Elliott.
Maybe I'll let the hair grow on the side and comb it over too.
Yeah, anyways,
Okay.
we got to get to work.
Bob and Brad, the two most famous physical therapists